How is everyone today? I'm glad to have you here. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Please feel free to ask questions anytime. Today, I apologize for being late. My only excuse is that I ate too much for lunch. Had a late lunch. We were at the new temple in San Francisco, and so we decided to go out for lunch. And it's a kind of a cute area where you have a lot of small shops. The American expression is a hole-in-the-wall types of restaurants where it's like the father and the mother cooks. I mean, the wife cooks and the husband runs the table, that kind of restaurant. Okay, it's Chinese. You go in there, you speak English, tough luck. You know, you order the wrong thing, tough luck. Okay, but luckily for us, we had some Chinese people. So they ordered in Chinese. I had no idea what they were talking about. But anyway, the food is so great, so cheap, and it's funny because I've always been to lots of Chinese restaurants and never had such simple food like very, very simple food. The fancy Chinese restaurants like that, nice chairs, nice tables, tablecloth and everything. And food has to be fancy, otherwise it's not Chinese food. So we ate so much. So I apologize. Okay, I came back and passed out. Okay, thank you. Okay, today, since you're all in a good mood, let's try something new. Let's try discussing on some of these gongans, those the koans, some of these teachings from Master Weishan, Master Weiyang. Apparently, we've been very lucky. Some of my disciples translated a lot of anecdotes of Master Weishan's teaching. I think it's from Master Weiyang's recollection. He said, "This is what my teacher did." So it's always so fascinating to see what Master Weiyang, Master Weishan's successor, felt was important, that he saw and watched or heard maybe what Master Weishan did to teach his pupils. So it's always fascinating to see two levels. You know, one person Weishan, where you really don't know why he did that, and Master Weiyang says, "Oh, I like that." I mean, he still didn't explain that either. So it's two generations of mystery, and now it's a third generation. So it's very challenging. Okay, so it would be cool. All right. Besides, many of you are Chinese, so I figured that maybe the Chinese-speaking people would give us some more insights, and furthermore encourage you to learn Chinese. If you're going to have some time and want to learn a language, I strongly urge you to learn Chinese, because the translation doesn't do justice. Seriously. Okay? So, can we do that? Would you like to do that? Or would you rather me to talk to you about politics and food and restaurants and so forth? Oh, thank you. There's a question. Okay. Go ahead, GMT question.
네, 질문이 두 가지가 있는데요. 한 가지를 먼저 드리자면, 제가 최근에 마스터 예전 법문을 들은 게 있는데, 그 내용 중에 정서적인 애착이 있는 것도 그 사람한테 빚이 있어서 그런 거라는 그런 말씀을 들었는데, 그 빚을 어떻게 갚는지에 대해서는 못 들은 것 같습니다. 물질적으로 빚을 진 게 아니고 정서적인 감정상의 빚이 진 거는 어떻게 갚아야 되는지를 먼저 묻고 싶습니다.
제가 먼저 그걸 물어볼게요. Master, I have two questions for today, but let me start with the first question. Number one, I heard one of your old Dharma talks, and then you mentioned about attachment, but this attachment is not about financial or physical attachment. It was about emotional attachment. So when I heard this Dharma talk, you mentioned about this attachment, but I don't remember if you elaborated about how to pay back this emotional attachment. Thank you very much. That's the first question.
How to pay back emotional attachments? Okay. First of all, when you ask me questions, you have to be specific. That is, give me more details. Please try to avoid asking me hypothetical questions where you say suppose or if and so forth. I need specifics. The Chan teaching, by the way, is very specific. We don't answer theories because that's not what Chan training is about. Chan training, you notice, is rarely about theory, rarely is about using big words and so forth. Because remember, the Chan part of the Chinese part of the Chan teaching is what is it? 言语道断, meaning is it is the kind of teaching where that picks up from where the words and the language end. That's where the Chan teaching really begins. So fundamentally, what it means that we rarely use big words, we rarely use theoretical theories and so forth. It's about anti-theory. It's about simple words. It's about specifics, if you will. Okay. So your question is vague. If you could remind me of what particular attachments or what happened or when I spoke about it, because I do change my mind. I'm guilty of that.
예를 들면 저는 만약에 상대방에 대해서 계속 관심이 가고 그러니까 관심과 사랑이 있고 뭘 계속 주고 싶은데 그 상대방은 저에 대해서 신경을 쓰지 않고 더 이상 생각도 하지 않고 이런 경우에 저는 감정상으로 제가 빚이 있다고 느끼는데, 그런데 그런 거를 물질적으로 갚을 수는 없고 물질적으로 빚을 진 게 아니기 때문에, 근데 그거를 그 빚을 진 것 같아서 그거를 어떻게 갚아야 될지 제가 이렇게 한 번 더 여쭤보면 될지 네, 질문드리겠습니다.
Master, I'm going to try, and I hope this works out this time. So if I explain a little bit more with the detail, for example, I know someone and I want to pay attention to this person and wants to share love with this person. And I want to give all this my feeling toward this person. But this person is not paying attention to me at all, and this person is not interested in my attention or love. So I understand this is not something material debt. It's more like an emotional attachment or debt. So in this case, how can I pay back if I have any debt if I have any debt toward him? How do I pay back?
Okay, emotional love, is it a debt or not a debt? It's not for sure. First of all, when you have physical, emotional attachment, let's say it's not love yet, it's attraction. At this stage, it's an attraction. Then it's not necessarily because it's some sort of karmic debts at all. It could be like you see something like a flower. Can we compare men as flowers? Well, never mind. So you see something that you like, you're drawn to. So it's a natural thing that occurs. So it's not necessarily karmic debts. Okay, so it's not for sure. On the other hand, there quite often is a case where when you have physical attraction, emotional attachment, emotional love, it's a case most quite commonplace is some karmic debts. That is some things that goes back to lifetimes, many lifetimes ago. Okay, so it's not for sure. So what do you do in the case of this physical attraction and so forth? It depends on what it is. To me, from a personal perspective, I really don't care. To me, it's not that important. For me to understand is whether it's new or it's old. For me, it's what to do about it. Okay. Many people, especially the ones who have little skills, they would say, "Oh, I look back and I see that you, in a prior life, you were my wife and I was your husband," or something like that. Or you were your husband and I was your wife, and so forth. Now we're still drawn to each other, and that's usually the case. Quite often is the case. To me, and then for those people say, okay, and therefore it makes me feel better that I know the reasons. To me, if you understand China at all, it doesn't matter what the reason, you learn to deal with it. Okay, because what you see could be pretty limited. If the solution that makes you so satisfied and proud of yourself, it could be limited by your ability to see as well. But the approach in solving a problem is still the same. Okay, so to me personally, I really don't pay much attention to the real reason. I only practice how to resolve these obstruction or attachments. Okay, it's very simple. If you are emotionally attached, and you are that emotionally attached, then it's no good. Shouldn't be. It has to be the case, personally to me, it has to be where there's a mutual interest. All right? If there's no mutual interest, move on. It's perfectly okay to be attached to someone or to show interest in something beautiful, like a painting, in an exhibit, in a museum. It's normal to be interested. Or watching a sunset. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, a wonderful thing to do. But enjoy it. If you see something pleasant, something nice, something attractive, enjoy it, and then move on. If there's a case where you can get to see it again, like a sunset, like a painting that's hung on a museum, or a person that is available or amenable to you seeing him or her again, then it's perfectly okay to let it grow or to explore that. But if there's no reciprocation, then simply move on. I don't know if that makes sense. Does it make sense? Besides, I'm warning you. You're asking a monk about emotional thing. If I answer you, well, it's not good for me. I'm supposed to be the unexpert, okay? And what do you expect from me? I'm not a counselor about love. No expert. I never received any training. Okay? To me, lighten up. Life is fun. If you find someone that's interesting and that you're attracted to, there's nothing wrong with that. but don't become obsessed. Okay? It's all up to you. And if there is such a compulsion to be obsessed, it seems to be the case with you, then that's when I need help. What can we do? What can she do? Samguk Sunim, go ahead. What? Don't shake your head like that. You see what I mean? Okay, you Asians, please help me out, especially you who are experienced, or that one that you mean who has wet hair. It's a joke. Okay? Huh? Someone else, speak up. Help us out. Pitch in. Bail me out, please. Okay. Yes, Jane, how?
Yes, Master. Maybe she can have a new haircut.
New haircut. Take showers more often. Yes. Keep the hair wet. Personally, to me, when in terms of love relationships, my personal approach is to make myself attractive, make myself desirable. Okay, so so that's a natural attraction. It's a natural mutual thing. Okay, that will last. And even after you get married, after you have a relationship, you still make yourself more attractive. You keep on growing and growing and make yourself even more attractive. That's how the relationship gets stronger and more meaningful, you will. Okay, it's not a static thing. Ask concubine, she'll tell you. She's the expert. Come on, concubine, help us out. You're the specialist, you're a counselor, aren't you? See? The Koreans are very, very humble. You have to force them, except for Sangwook. Go ahead.
예, 네. 헬로 마스터. 어, I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Well, this lady here. Okay, I'm going to take a wild guess. Okay, the way she asked me seems to indicate that she's not very experienced at all. If I were her, I would get some advices from people, your friends, her friends, or the people she likes or she respects, their opinions, and ask a very simple question. How do I make myself more attractive to the opposite sex? Does it make sense? Sangwook Sunim. Okay, that is the fundamentals. Never mind about that person. Learn to be more attractive. Learn to be something that that the other people makes you more drawn to you. Okay. Is that okay to go in that direction? Instead of saying that, how do I pay them off? Or whatever. It's a natural thing. We are emotional beings. We're going to have emotions towards this person or that person. That's normal. That's part of life. Okay? So, And if you get into a situation where it's only one way, that's not a healthy one. Okay, there should be a balance where you need to be able to draw the other person to you as well, not just you drawn to the other person. So therefore, why don't you invest time in learning about people or learning from people who are who can give you some hints, like concubine or whatever, you know. Oof. Next question.
네, 두 번째 질문은 지난번에도 그 고기 먹는 문제에 대해서 질문 드렸었는데 그때 고기를 먹어도 된다, 이제 즐겨라라고 대답을 들었는데, 근데 그래도 고기를 먹으면서 욕망과 이렇게 생각을 통제하는 게 더 어려운 것 같은데, 이게 단순히 제 추측일 뿐인지 이게 수행에 정말 방해가 되는 게 맞는지 그게 궁금합니다.
So second question is, last time I asked this questions already, but I wanted to ask you one more time. It's about eating meat.
Yes.
And when I asked you, you told me that it's okay to eat and enjoy. However, in order to decrease my desire and control my mind, I think that eating meat might be interfering with my cultivation. Would you say more about this eating meat?
Okay, certainly. If I may, I'm going to go out more on a limb for you. Okay, and please forgive me if I offend you. Okay. From the way you talk alone, you're very tense. And when you're with anyone, whether it's the opposite sex or the same sex, very important to remember to be more relaxed. And you have to relax first. And then you develop the skills to help others relax. That's what makes our people, makes us different. We're able to relax and help others around us relax. And that's what makes us stand out, by the way, because most people, they're very tense, they're very worried. There's so much stress and tension in their lives, and it makes them stiffen up, okay, and become nervous and anxious. Whereas if you practice Chan more, you, especially, for example, learn to sit longer and longer and longer, will naturally make you softer and more relaxed. That's what Chan does to people. The more skilled you are in Chan, the more relaxed you become under stress. Whether you're under stress, under pressure, under attack, you can still remain calm and collected. Okay, and that's why not only for us professionals, we train ourselves to be able to handle pressure and stress. We also, like Sangwok Sunim, for example, one day when she becomes less Hinayana, she'll learn. She's on the way, by the way. Okay, or eventually. Once you are able to become less nervous, more relaxed, more peaceful, then it rubs off on other people. You're helping others become more relaxed and peaceful. And that's what makes you stand out, by the way. That somehow the other people don't quite get it, but when they're near you, they become more relaxed. They can be themselves. They don't feel threatened. They don't feel pressured into performing or to be someone they're not. All right? So that's what makes us stand out, by the way, in a very, very subdued way, very, very self-effacing way. All right? So try to do that. Try to meditate more, sit longer, and learn to relax. And ask your friends and the people you respect, please tell me how to become more relaxed, or teach me how, to recognize that I have tension in my voice. I'm nervous. Like the way you sound right now is pretty tense, pretty tight, pretty nervous. Okay? It shows in your voice. It shows in your demeanor. You're too tense. Okay? And it's more pleasant to be with people who are relaxed. All right? That's the first thing. The other thing about the eating meat and so forth, if you are able to eat more vegetarian, it would be better for you, of course. Okay, but don't force it. To me, you are not. You are live a normal life. So eating is important for us, for all of us, and therefore, when you eat meat, you do have more choices. When you go out with friends and families and so forth, you do the same things they do. Meaning they eat the lobster, you eat lobster. They eat steak, you eat steak. So it's more fun, more relaxing for them to be around you. Whereas if you eat vegetarian, they tense up and say, "Oh, so we're not good enough for you. You have to be different." Okay, so that's the disadvantage of eating, being vegetarian. It has some advantages, but also it has some disadvantages. That's why I advise you the first time just to enjoy it. You have to learn to enjoy it. You're too tense. The first time I didn't dare tell you. This second time since you asked me, you forced it on me, I have to tell you, okay? It's not about the meat. Okay? It's about learning to relax, learning to be more pleasant. All right? Less pressure. Relax and enjoy yourself more, and learn to enjoy life more. Small joys. Like eating some ice cream, like, I don't know what else people do for fun here. I only know eating. I'm sorry. Okay? That's the only fun I have. All right? So relax. Have more fun. How about that to start out? Really, I find it charming when with someone I enjoy, a boy eating, and he says, "I like this," and he picks out, and he runs and screams. Everything to me, anything is acceptable as long as you enjoy yourself and it's no harm to others. We were at this tiny restaurant, and we have two boys with us, and they're about 6, 7 tables, and one of the other table has a young couple with a boy, their son, who's about 1 or 2 years old, okay? And our two boys are screaming at the top of their lungs the whole time. And the other boy that couple was eating for about an hour with us, right behind me. And I couldn't even hear the other kid. Who's having more fun? You tell me. And because of that, the other customers didn't seem to be bothered at all, because our two boys really enjoy themselves. Too much sometimes. Okay? The fun is catching and makes people relax and makes people draws them to you. All right? Relax. In general. I notice now that when I look at the screen and the photo of the Koreans, more and more of them are laughing at my jokes. When I first started, I was telling a joke, I'm a statue of the Buddha and Bodhisattva. Okay, relax. Okay. That's what makes you stand out. Okay, from a man's perspective, there's so much competition where you will. You look at from the perspective of a man you're interested in. For example, there are a lot of women he sees. So what are you doing that differentiates you from the others? Okay, and one thing I'm teaching you is relax and have fun. Genuinely be fun, have fun. All right, and not worry so much about being liked and so forth. Just be yourself, have fun, relax. All right? Okay, anything else? So in conclusion, yes, you can try to reduce your meat intake. That would help a little bit, but in general, relax and try to integrate and do the same things others are doing when you're with others. But in terms of Chan meditation, just come to the temple more often and ask to go for long sits. For example, do you know that our temple, you're very lucky. I sent to Korea one of my best disciples, Master Z, who specializes in helping people sit longer. And here in Gold Forest, I remember when he first came here, when we were working on remodeling this temple here, Gold Forest, he used to sit overnight with a lot of people. As a result, a lot of them improved tremendously. So take advantage of it. Sit longer with him. If he's available, when he's available, okay? Improve when you see. The more skilled you are at Chan, the more relaxed you become, the more, if I may say it, more attractive as a person you become. Whether you're man or woman, you're attracted to both men and women. All right? Wei Mountain, go ahead.
Master, you were saying that about eating meat, and if you go to the restaurant and just enjoy the meat with the other people so that you don't stand out or be different. But in the case of alcohol drinking, and you have precept and people are drinking there, what do we do? Do we order a tea and a water, or do we join them? Right? So what do we do in that case?
I used to recommend you drink vodka, but not anymore. Not the imported kind. Again, it's the same thing. To me, I'm very relaxed. Okay, as long as I drink, as long as I don't get drunk, okay, then I don't see any harm at all. By the way, the precept against drinking is because we know that you will get in trouble. You will become drunk before you realize it. However, if you are skilled in Chan and you say, okay, I know my limits, then a liberal drink to me is really not a big deal. Okay, and please, I'm not a pure monk, let's face it. Okay? I'm too engaged. To me, the precepts against drinking, it's not practical for most of you, or professionals out there, and people who, especially in America, for example, it's not uncommon for us to go out and have a beer with our friends. And a beer is really not that harmful to me, as far as I could remember. Okay, it's best to avoid drinking if it doesn't offend your friends, at all. And you know, it's one good thing too, by the way. If you want to test your friends and say, okay, I'm not going to drink, and if they're offended, then you know that, and they can't recover from being offended, then you know that they are not that close to you as a friend. So there's a flip side to it. However, you go to, let's say, a function where business function, and everyone, they open a very expensive bottle of red wine. You're not going to drink even a sip? I would, if I were you. Okay? Why not? You can't afford to buy, that fancy bottle of wine by yourself. Drink it, so that you will never have to wonder what it tastes like. Okay? And then you go to confession. Go do repentance. Does it help? Way Mountain Temple? You blend in. That's my philosophy. Okay? As long as you don't get in trouble. And if you get in trouble, you say, okay, you can't drink. You can make excuses. You can't drink, or you save yourself for dinner or whatever. You make excuses, and usually people can be very forgiving and understanding. I wouldn't be too stuck on that. Experiment. And to me, it works both ways. If people are open-minded about it, about you not drinking, about you not eating meat, those are the people that you want to have as friends, as lifelong friends and lifelong relationships. If they are so high-strung and so demanding and so judgmental, they won't last. They cannot keep up with your growth. Let me tell you, the Chan training you're going through will help you grow so much quicker than anyone else around you. That's typical. They cannot keep up with you. And therefore, the only way for you to have long-term relationships are those who are supportive, who are not judgmental. Okay? You find out. All right, anyone else? Okay. Let's do one Gungan, huh? One anecdote, shall we? Okay. There's more. Okay. Why did you come? Well, it has to be next time. Okay. Is there one question? We do questions first. That's our rule. Go ahead, question. Korean WMT BLI. What a name, Korean.
Master, at first, this is from Hai Kim. At first, I tried to sit in a full lotus, but it was really painful. So I had a mind that I could maybe sit longer if I do a half lotus. But when I heard that there's a difference between full lotus and half lotus, maybe like 50 times more, there's more effective when I do the full lotus. So for within a week, I sit one time for 5 hours without unbuckling, versus if I sit every day 5 hours, however, maybe 20 minutes at a time, or sometimes 50 minutes at a time in a full lotus. Would you let me know what would be difference? And I rather do it daily, sit 5 hours in full lotus, but in 20 minutes or 50 minutes at a time, because that makes me feel more enjoyable. And also, Master, you mentioned that full lotus, sitting in full lotus is a designed cultivation way.
Okay.
And when you say someone like me who's sitting in full lotus just for the short time, 20 minutes or 50 minutes, can my mind could be clear, and also my back becomes straight, and then also there's a benefit for my health can I obtain all this doing that type of cultivations?
Yes. The quick answer is yes, absolutely. You will get a lot of benefit. The more you practice, the more benefits you reap from your practice. However, it's better to challenge yourself. Your premise is a little bit off. Your premise is that you want to sit in 20 minutes because it's more enjoyable to you. It's exactly the opposite of why we train you. We train you to be uncomfortable. And we're proud of that. We're probably the only Chan class where we urge you to be uncomfortable, not comfortable at all. Okay? We urge you to challenge yourself. If you sit to be comfortable, it's too slow. It's better, that's why we ask you to push yourself. Don't do 5 hours. Probably that's not as effective as it were for you to do half hour, or 45 minutes, or 1 hour, and it's very, very hard for you. Okay? The idea is to push yourself. The full lotus is just an excuse to ask you to do something that you don't like. That's our Weiyang training. Some people usually, in early days, when the people would come and say, "Why have you sit in full lotus? I don't like this. It hurts too much," and they walk away. They say, and and the others who say, "Okay, it's hard, but I'm going to do it." There's a huge difference in progress, a huge difference in results, in the benefits. Okay, we ask you to do things that are not easy, not comfortable, for a reason. It's by design. Okay, so instead of if you have the time to do 5 hours, I would rather that you do it by pushing yourself more and more and more and more until you hit 1 hour full lotus without any discomfort whatsoever. That's the first goal. Okay? But you do 5 hours, and yes, you get the benefits too, but I assure you it's not as great or as fast if you were to push yourself more. So you spend less time doing the Chan practice, but you get far more benefits than even 5 hours. That's why. Okay? So this is important. If you are able to talk to someone like you in Korea, right? Hi Kim, yeah. So in Korea, are you in Korea? Then talk to the Master Z or Master Xienan or all those our people at the temple and ask them about your personal situation. And our style is to push you to do something that's difficult for you. That's the idea behind this Weiyang Chan training. This is us. We do things that are difficult for ourselves. That's how we challenge ourselves. The secret for Weiyang training being that when it's difficult, you can rise to the occasion. When it's easy, when it's comfortable, then there's no reason for you to improve, to grow at all. Okay? All right, anything else? Okay, I have 13 minutes left. Let's do that one thing. Okay, if I come back again, we'll never have a chance. Why did you come? Okay, let's do it, please. Why did you come? Okay, let's do this is okay. Next, Master Wei Shan, Ling You, one they call the temple director. So the temple director came. What? It's not loaded in Zoom? Oh, disaster. When I don't have time. This is even more challenging. I have to get to this anecdote here in 13 minutes. Okay? You got that? No, the language is very important. That's the whole point behind this is very interesting. It's loading? Okay. I will hold my breath. There's one more question. Kim Young? Kim Na-young. It sounds like the same author
Okay.
as
Hello,
Xiaoshu.
Master.
Yes.
I have a question. Like you said, our purpose is making us more uncomfortable, but now I feel like it's kind of easier to sit in full lotus than before.
Yeah.
So is there any other suggestion for me, like to do?
Sit longer.
Okay. So yeah, it's kind of easier than before. So
Yeah. Then sit longer.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself. You sit longer. That's the second part of that. The next step is sit longer. The first part is you try to sit get into 1 hour without any problems at all, and then you try for 2 hours.
yeah, now my longest sitting was like 12 hours.
12 hours?
Yeah.
Are you enlightened yet?
Not yet. Sorry.
Okay. Then at that range, and then you have to do a couple of things. Number one, you have to listen to Dharma talks more often.
Okay.
Okay, particularly Master YongHua or myself. Okay?
Thank you.
Don't bother with any other. At 12 hours, forget it. None of the others will. None of the other masters will be able to help you. Honestly.
All right.
Okay, so listen to Master YongHua because the depth is there. Okay, and the basics are there. And listen to my Dharma talks as well when you drive to work or when you have a chance. Just listen. It's very important. Those are designed to help you plant the seeds for the future. Okay, that's very important. At the kind of length, long sit you're able to do. Now it's great opportunities. Okay, you have a very fertile field. And you need to plant properly, okay? So you plant, you listen to the Dharma, especially sutra lectures, okay? Avoid, excuse me, I mean no offense to anyone, I'm very blunt. Avoid sterile seats, avoid nonsense, okay? So that's why I'm very selective. I only listen to the good teachings, the Mahayana, seeds. That's why I want you to plant, not the other types of lower quality seeds. Okay?
Okay.
And then you have to, I think at the temple, especially Jewel Mountain Temple, wherever Master Z goes, you should go and sit with him. You sit with him, it's like you sit near a nuclear reactor. You should see it. You can't even see it, then your level is too low. Okay, most people would come and they would leave and they say, okay, my God, I sit with him and it's not the same as with anyone. Or one of my other disciples here in the US, not the same level as his, she would once tune into his mantra recitation. I don't remember what night. Anyone remembers? Vietnamese or whatever, and she says, wow, it's like nuclear reactor right there. Okay, so who you sit with, who you practice with makes a huge difference. Okay, and finally, number 3, so you want to go and participate in his long sits. That's what he does to help a lot of people. Okay, and finally, and that's when you want to go to our chanchis and so forth, and fochis and so forth. Okay, you need to get away from where you are. Go into an environment that is much more conducive to your making progress. Congratulations, by the way. You sit 12 hours like that, not much else we can do for you. Okay? It's a special case where you need now special attention and better environments. Okay? That's
Thank you
good.
so much.
Now, it's a Chan is a very personal thing. Yeah, at your level, you need personal attention. Okay, from someone who's can guide you, and that's why I urge you to draw near over in Korea, in Asia. It's Master Z right now. Draw near him. Okay, and
Okay, thank you,
and we
Master.
will, for example, in the future, for this year, for example. We're going to have a summer tea here in San Francisco, hopefully. At the rate we're going right now, it's going to be, hopefully it's possible, probably not quite ready yet, but it's operational. But at the end of the year, my plan is to split my time. So I will go to San Francisco. I stay in Los Angeles. I also plan to spend maybe like some time as well in Korea. So I will split my time between 3 locations during our winter cheese. So this year will be 12 weeks. So officially, we will have 6 weeks in LA, 6 weeks in San Francisco, and of course at our branches in Korea. And during that time, I will I will split my time between those places as well as with Korea. Okay, you need personal attention right now. Okay, that's the way forward. Okay? It's no longer talks. It's like what Master Lingyo does. What you don't realize is these anecdotes are critical because the teaching has to be timely, be delivered in a timely fashion. It's like when you work the steel, you work a sword. You need to strike the steel when it's still hot at the right time so that it's perfect. Okay, so the steel worker, the master steel worker, he knows the exact time of when to do that. Okay, when to strike the steel and then stick it into the water to make it harder. Okay, to condition the steel to turn it into a sword that is so strong, it is so sharp. Okay, and they require skills, and the timing is critical, and that knowledge there is in the master craftsman. And Chan teaching is the same thing as well. When Master Lingyo taught these people, it happened because those people were ready, okay, to be taught. Okay, and when we explain these anecdotes to you, we can't necessarily explain everything to you because there's 2 levels. One level is for you to understand at the general level as a student. Okay? When we explain these anecdotes or these Chan things, it's for you as a student. But it's also at the level of the teachers as well. We need to train our people at the teacher's level. I'm not doing it yet because we're too busy taking care of you. Our objective right now, my personal objective is make sure you raise the average, we bring your level more and more people up. Okay, like my master, Master YongHua brought a lot of people up. I want to bring more people up, even higher. That's my objective right now. I need mass, I need momentum, I need a lot more people. Okay, than my master did. So that's why we are doing. We are training. We are more demanding in a way with our students, so that we bring more of you up to speed a lot quicker by paying personal attention to more of you. Okay, and then so again. So far, all this past time, last 16 years, we're able to do that. We're able to raise a higher level. Now I need to bring more of you up, okay? When you have that, then I would have time to prepare to train the students, the teachers, so that the teacher will understand why we do certain things, which we will not tell you, okay? It's the teacher's training. Because in Chan training, there's no way for me to explain everything to you at your level, at the student's level. You cannot know what I'm doing. That's how I train you. If you know exactly what I'm doing, I cannot train you. Even in those anecdotes, you see that when you have these anecdotes selected by Master Wei-Yang, from his teachers' teachings or his own teachings. It's because those people, those students were given personal attention and they were ready to be taught, and the level was pretty good. Okay, and that's why these anecdotes are very difficult to understand and can be only explained to you at the student's level, but at the teacher's level, it's a lot more going on than we can tell you. Okay, so it's two levels. Okay, one is student's level that we need to help many more of you. Okay. And raise your average as well. And then the other is eventually, in the future, train more students, more teachers, so that they understand why we have to do, why we do certain things, so that they can do it too. Again, when we train our students, there's no way that our students know why we do things. That's the only way to help you. If you know what we're doing, we can't help you. That's a Wei-Yang secret. Okay? All right. That's all I have for you today. We'll see you next time. Feel free to ask questions. Okay, these questions, your question is getting harder and harder to answer. But it's good. It's good that you ask questions. And 12 hours is impressive. Very, very impressive. Okay. All right. Very good. Keep it up. And we're here to help you. Don't worry. 12 hours is impressive, but you are not that impressive yet. You can talk all you want. For us, it's about samadhi levels, okay? Yeah. It's about samadhi levels determines how much you can be taught. There's a lot more going on than you think. All right. Thank you, everyone. Good questions today. We'll see you next time.